Welcome back to ITS 129. This is kind of a side video, a mini side video, just kind of talk a little bit about OLAP queries because OLAP queries can be a little bit tricky. Um, and, there are four general rules that I've come up with, as you write them. Um, and the first couple rules have to do with what is known as a non-aggregated field. A field that you're not summing or averaging or min-maxing and counting it. Okay, so let me explain that, yeah? So say, for example, you're going to run an OLAP query because you want to find statistical data in your database. So I'm going to say, well, let me do a very simple one, and I'm going to do count, and I'm going to put the attribute, which means all, and I'm going to put in from part, right? From the part table. So I run this guy, now I have 10 records. Now the reason why it says this over here is because we didn't give it a name. And if you wanted to, you could give it a name, num of, right, whatever, number of. So when you run it, num of, yeah. And for aggregated functions, you can put in as many as you want. Let's go take a look at that part table. I want to know the average price, right? So I want to know the average price, and I want to know the sum of the price. I can do all of these. I can do as many of these guys as I want to inside, and I'm going to say as average, as total, those kind, just give it a name, give it an alias, right? So I'm going to go ahead and run it. And, like this average, total, whatever, yeah. So you can put out many of these guys, as many of these aggregated functions in one select statement as you want, really. And the reason why is because when you do an aggregated, it gives you one row of return. It gives you one record as your answer. That's it, when you do this. The problem becomes when you put in a non-aggregated field inside here, right? Like description. So my part table has a description on it, right? So, when you do that, it's not going to work, right? By the way, with the description field is a text field, right? So, yes, you can count it. You can count the description field, okay? Okay, so that works, yeah? But you cannot min-max, sum it, or average it. And the reason why is because it's a text field. It's going to give you this error message, right? So, but if this field, like here, is not aggregated, again, what's that mean is that it doesn't have a sum, average, min, max in front of it, right? It's going to give you this error message. So if you do this, then you have to use a group by. And what group by does is it aggregates. It says, by this description, tell me the average price, sum of the price, total, whatever aggregate you have inside there, right? So I'm going to type in over here, description, yeah, and then I'm going to run it. So that's what it does, yeah. Now, if you have a non-aggregated field, it must be included here. If you have more than one, you also got to include that guy too. So I'm going to say class inside there. This guy's not going to work, right? Because you also have to include it in here as well in order for it to work, right? Now, the best use of the group by is when you have data that, is replicated over here for whatever reason. So you said, I just want to know for all the housewares, for all the appliances, for all the sporting goods, what is the average? What is the total like this? How many you got, right? So that's why I use the group by over here. So maybe description is not a really good one. So I'm just going to use by class. I'm just going to choose by class because for what the information I want to just know by class. I don't need to know the name. So now when I run it, I see the appliance has 5 items. The total is inside the average price is $400, right? So that's the best use of the group by. Okay, so again, if you have a non-aggregated field inside of a statement, a select statement that has aggregates inside there, then you must use the group by, and you must include it in as part of that group by statement. Okay, okay, now, so that's the first two rules over there. If you have an aggregated function over there, best to use the having clause over there. Yeah, the having clause, and the having clause must refer to a field that's declared as part of the select statement. Okay, so I'm going to come over there and I'm going to filter. So instead of having all three of these class types, I just want the houseware. Yeah, I just want the houseware. So the way to filter that out is by doing the having clause inside here, where I say class equals houseware semicolon, right? Again, this is a text field, so I got to put in the apostrophes and in the front and the back, right? So I run it. So now I just have one class, and this is the average, and this is the total, and I have number 3 inside here. So, you know, again, like this. Now, here's the problem with the having now. It has to be inside the select statement. So earlier we used the description field, right? So we know it's inside of, we use the description field inside there, and I'm just going to use iron, right? Because there's an iron inside there, iron description, right? So this guy's not going to work, yeah? And the reason why is because if you use this having, it has to be declared up here. Yeah, it has to be declared up here. So once again, let's go see that. So I'm going to do it here. I'm going to put my description up here, comma. Then that means I have to do it inside of here as well, right? You got to do it inside there as well, right? So then now I can do it this way. Now it should work, right? Let's go see. Oh yeah, now I got my iron over here. Okay, like this, iron. So, you know, that's, you know, you should use it like this. Now, I also have the rule over here, number 3, where I say, you know, there are times where the where clause can work inside there as well. Yeah. So let me go try and just plug in a where statement that we've been using all this time, and I say description or class equals like this, right? Where class equals this houseware like this. Let's go see. Okay, so the iron is in the houseware like this. By the way, you know, if you iron is in houseware, but if you go sporting goods, this is what you get, right? You got nothing because iron is not in sporting goods, right? So yeah, you know, so you can kind of say, well, it kind of gives me the same thing over here. You know, you can go ahead and you can actually do it double this way, where you can say description equals to iron, and it is essentially going to give you the same thing now. Give you the same thing, and even if I took out the having over here, right? If I took out the having over here, this guy will work too now. So, you know, it gets a little bit confusing, kind of gives you the same thing, right? So once again, I'm going to go ahead and recommend that if you use the group by, that you go ahead and, you know, description, that you use the having over here. It's just a better way to do this, right? So you can go like this and it works, okay? The reason why you would use this guy, the where clause, is if, you know, you have a field that's not included up here, right? So I don't have a description or like, you know, oh, by the way, you know, where I can say, you know, price is greater than $200, say. You know, this will work, right? Because, you know, even though it's not over here, it's not included as part over here, we do have price here. this guy will work, right? But you know, we don't have any iron part where you know the price is greater than this. There, it is greater than $20, right? We have $20, but not $200, right? So that's the benefit of the where statement. You said I want to go and filter out using a field that's not included over here. So let's go find one. So part 1894 or BV06, right? So I say part equals to BV06, right? So I can go ahead now. It's going again. It's going to give me nothing. Oh, sorry. Part. Well, what was the name of that field? Part num. Sorry. Part num. So part num equals to BV06. So it's going to give me nothing, right? Because the iron is not BV06. So it's kind of conflict. But the reason why I use the where statement over here is, you know, if you, for whatever reason, you said, okay, I want to do my class over here equals to houseware and I don't know, what is the houseware over here, iron, and warehouse equals to the all these guys are, or and price, you know, for whatever reason you want to filter it even more, where you say like this, price equals is greater than $50, then you can do it that way because, you know, even though you don't have price up here, it's still going to work, right? So it's going to go like this. Oh, sorry, it's like this, group by having class. Oh, group by, sorry. Um, oh, description, yeah, like this, group by this. Oh, sorry, got an extra. I got an extra apostrophe over here. That's why. Okay, so you know, like this, greater than 50, right? So here we go, run it. So then, you know, that's what it comes with over there, yeah, like this. So you got one stand mixer, one, you know, so you just kind of got to watch it. You know, again, once again, I do recommend that you go this way. It's a lot easier to write, although you can use the where series. So that's why, you know, again, OLAP queries can be a little bit tricky. Okay, until the next time.